We all know the basic security tips for keeping our WordPress site safe.
This is all a moot point.
Updating plugins and themes, using strong passwords, and choosing secure hosting.
Well, duh.
But today we're diving into some lesser known yet critical aspects of WordPress security that you might not consider. Let's start with social engineering attacks. This is where hackers use psychological tricks to manipulate people into giving away their confidential information. For example, in December 2023, the WordPress security team reported multiple phishing scams where attackers impersonated the WordPress team or WordPress security team. These fraudulent emails urged admins to install a malicious plugin, compromising their sites upon installation. Similarly, in December 2023, WordPress hosting provider Kinsta warned customers about phishing attacks using Google Ads to promote fake sites, mimicking Kinsta's login page. Unsuspecting users who entered their credentials on these fraudulent sites had their accounts compromised. I think all of us are getting emails from scammers each day or at least a couple of times a week. You can usually spot them from a mile away because they often use improper grammar or ask you to pay a bill for a program you never sign up for.
Show me the money!
However, it can also get less obvious than this. Scammer can get really creative and make the email look very well designed, completed with a signature and components from an official email. If you don't look closely, you might get the impression that the email is legit. There are several things we can look for to identify phishing attempts. The first thing is threatening or urgent language. Hackers often use urgency to pressure people into taking action because fear is a powerful motivator. The hacker will highlight the urgency of the situation to get you to take the action they want. They might give you a specific timeline to act quickly before something awful happens, whether to you, your website, your bank account, your credit card, and so on. You would be amazed at how much information about you is out there and how easily hackers can get their hands on it, making them sound even more legit. Another thing to look for is suspicious links. Always hover over links and buttons to expose the URL and ensure it is from a legit website, not a fake one. Lastly, pay attention to the sender's email. Like in the previous example, hackers can use emails from a defaced domain or a lookalike domain. More often though, you will see the phishing emails sent from a regular Gmail account. Hackers use Gmail because it's less likely to be flagged as spam, meaning the email is more likely to land directly into your inbox. File permissions basically decide who can read, write, or run the files and folders on your site. In WordPress, this controls access to important things like your themes, plugins, and even the content that you upload. Now, how do file permissions work? Every file and folder on your site has a little code, usually 3 numbers like 644 or 755. These numbers tell the server what each type of user can do. The owner, you or your system, might have full control. The group, other users or processes might have limited access. The public, basically anyone including hackers, might have even less access, or at least that's the goal. Here's a breakdown of what these numbers mean. 4 is read, 2 is write, 1 is execute. For example, 644 means the owner can read and write, but everyone else can only read. 755 means the owner can read, write, and execute, while everyone else can just read and execute. Why does this matter? If these permissions aren't set up correctly, things can go wrong. If permissions are too restrictive, WordPress might stop working properly because it can access its own files. But if permissions are too loose, like 777, you are practically inviting hackers to mess up your site.
There's something wrong with you. There's something seriously wrong with you.
They can upload malicious scripts, insert spammy ads, or even replace your content with junk. I've seen it all. Clients have come to me with sites that redirect every visitors to spam pages, blog filled with spammy ads, or even content completely wiped out. In every case, it boils down to improper file permissions, giving hackers a way in. So here's my advice. If you don't know exactly what you're doing, leave file permissions alone.
Don't touch it. Don't even look at it.
WordPress usually sets them up correctly out of the box, and there's no need to tweak them unless you're troubleshooting with a developer or hosting provider. When it comes to user roles and capabilities, there's one principle you should always keep in mind: the principle of least privilege. This means every user should have the minimum level of access they need to perform their tasks. No more, no less. So how do we put this into practice? One of the most common issue I see is user having admin access when they don't need it. This can cause a range of problems like accidentally installing or activating unnecessary plugins, deleting files, or even breaking the site. While this isn't always a direct security threat, it's definitely something that can be avoided by setting appropriate user roles. When giving someone admin access, make sure they actually need it to perform their tasks. For example, if someone is only writing content on your site, there's no need for admin privileges. Editor access is perfectly fine. Admin access should be reserved for the website owner and trusted developer actively working on the site.
You got it, dude.
Also, having multiple admin users with weak passwords significantly increases the risk of your site being hacked. And never share your username and password. If someone else needs admin access, create a separate account for them instead of sharing your credentials. There are multiple reasons for this. If someone acts against your best interest or your company's interest, you can remove their access immediately. Or if an employee leaves your company, you can easily revoke their access without impacting your own account. By keeping admin privileges limited, using strong passwords, and creating individual accounts for every user, you can drastically reduce the risk of accidental errors and potential security threats.
Nice.